You're listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. From our studios come special guests and netball commentary, exclusively on YouTube.
Good afternoon, listeners, and welcome again to another edition of the 3 Feet Radio Show. It's our first show post the ANZ Championship Grand Final. Right under the Melbourne Vixens on winning the ANZ Championship title. Commiserations to the Queensland Firebirds, as always, next year. Onwards and upwards, no doubt. And joining me in the studio is my co-host, Luke. G'day, Luke.
G'day, Ben. And it must be said that it was a fitting grand final with the two best teams that took to the court. But today we do have a change in flavour, with the netball, the topics that we are covering. And we do have a very international guest. So on that note, Ben, please introduce our guest to the listener.
And it's a hello to Prachi Tehlan, Indian international netballer. Hi, Prachi. How are you today?
Hi, Ben. I'm great. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Let's just get things started. We were alerted to there's some problems going on in Indian netball at the moment regarding the state of affairs of it. It's quite shambolic. Do you want to update us on that first of all?
Yes, I surely feel bad about it, the state of netball in India right now. And in spite of the fact that we have got such international opportunities of especially participating in the big games like Commonwealth Games happened in 2010 in Delhi, it is not at all good to see that, India got an opportunity to participate at such a huge platform, and still we have not been able to make the best use of it, especially for the development of the sport in the country.
Just before we move on to the more specifics, and in integrated detail, what was it like for netball to get more exposure at the Commonwealth Games than in India?
Okay, so basically the whole squad of netball, we went through a 2-year camp, which was happened again in India. We went through a lot of exposure trips outside India. But unfortunately, at various, Asian championships, we didn't get the right facilities which we should have got. And that was really disheartening for all the players because they were putting in so much of hard work and, they dedicatedly, they left their studies, they left their families to, and sweat their heart on the ground to just participate in that big games. So that was an unfortunate part that, it's not that we don't have infrastructure, we don't have funds enough to invest in sports. We do have, but the problem being that they are not efficiently used and efficiently utilized. That is the matter of concern.
And also, I was reading, Prachi, about a lack of government support. What do you feel increased government support for netball in India would do for the sport?
I feel lack of government support comes that, there are people in the government who know that what is the structural issues which are going wrong. And they don't, being an athlete for myself for last 11 years, I feel that nobody is there to listen to the problems we face on grounds at the operational levels. So, I think government should really come forward. In the government, there should be people who have experienced being a sports person in themselves so that they can understand people like us who can understand sports, what it is meant for sports person to work hard on the grounds and, and the basic facilities is not available to him or her. So that is the major area of concern, and I would, really like if, every player in India, other than cricket, are also treated as part of, as the Indian cricketers are treated at the moment. So, cricket being, people worship cricket in a country like India, and all the other sports are overshadowed. So that is one of the major problems. The other games doesn't get a limelight to, have in place, and so that people can watch it, people can appreciate it, and other athletes also get recognition.
It's interesting that you mentioned cricket because I was just sitting here thinking about how cricket takes the lion's share of the publicity and sponsorship and so on in India. But moving along, in your open letter to the Indian Prime Minister, you highlighted a number of different instances regarding the lack of support for netball teams that play it. Do any of these stick out in your mind at all?
Yes, I highlighted some of the problems we face for good accommodation and food specific to, Six Nation Cup in Hong Kong. And then the time when I was badly injured in Australia, but proper treatment facilities were not available because of the lack of funds. About that particular incident, the funds were not released for the travel and basis that the only accommodation had to be booked. While other countries stayed in good hotels and concentrated on their game, we struggled to find space decent enough to rest, especially for over 6 feet girls staying in the same small rooms, sharing the same accommodation. So these were a lot of problems. And, I was just sitting off with my friends and we were discussing, and we were thinking that, especially staying in a city like Delhi, being a metropolitan, there should be a step taken to highlight the issues and, facts, faced on the ground by us to the new government which has come into place of, our Honorable Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. So, and we do have a lot of hope. So that was an initiative which was taken collaboratively, not only by me, but also a lot of other people suggested and asked me to take it further, and they also are in support.
Have you spoken also specifically, Prachi, with the administrators of netball in India about what would be some good ways to hopefully try and get things back on track and be more positive and also obtain greater funding for your sport too?
Yes, I did have spoken to, I've tried speaking to the federations. The federation has been changed since I've stopped playing in 2011. There are new people and I have tried contacting them, but there has never been a positive response from their end. Not only this, even Monica Thandi of Netball Development Trust tried contacting them to talk about some talented netball players generated out of their NDT program, but yet no response at all till now, till the date, neither on phone nor on email. So, you see, that's how, federations work here of rest other games. I would, really want that federations, really encourage talent and passion for the game in the sports people. That is very important.
What do you think needs to happen before the Indian government increases the level of support that it gives to netball?
With my experience, I believe, increased government support for netball in India will help in the recognition of the game at various government platforms, introduction of the game, of netball at Sports Authority of India, which is considered, to be as equal as Australian, Institute of Sports in Australia, and various, having generated various government jobs and various big stadiums will help attract students playing this sport seriously to view and to have better career aspect with it.
Just changing gears a bit here, Prachi, did you get a chance to go along to or just follow in general the One Nation Netball Cup in India that was run by another good friend of our show in Aditya B?
Yes, I went there on the day of finals. It was really well organized. Every effective step towards the development of the sport is surely considered to be, in the right direction. Not just that, even Netball Development Trust is also doing a wonderful job with spreading up the game in various parts of India. And with their approach of training the trainers along with the kids is one thing which is an add-on. And last year, even as a part of, Netball Development Trust, teaching netball and introducing netball to various school kids and, having a full-fledged tournament at the end of the week, explaining them the basics and then introduction of the game and at the last, recognition and rewarding the players who participated in it. So it is again a initiative, but I would really want that, Indian Federation also comes up and joins hands with all these people who are doing something for netball in India. So that's where we lack because, federations have their own games and these Netball Development Trust from UK and Aditya B also trying to develop netball in India. All this has to be done collaboratively to have a better result is what I believe.
And you'll be interested to know too, Prachi, Luke and I actually forwarded across your open letter link to a contact of ours at Netball New Zealand in Kerry Manders, who's the media manager. And she just replied back with one word, didn't she, Luke?
Oh, she did, and her response was just wow.
Yeah, which I think is they're not used in Australia and New Zealand. We're not probably used to seeing the problems that go on in India. But thanks very much for joining us today, Prachi, and giving us an insight into what's going on with netball in India. It's not very good, but hopefully, through you being on the show here, someone picks up the show and is able to support netball more in India.
Thanks a lot, Luke and Ben. I'm sure it will reach a lot of people, and thanks for giving me a platform to share my views, and I hopefully see a lot of development happening in Indian sports in next 5 years, probably. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to the 3 Feet Radio Show with Ben Carbonaro and Luke Herbert. Tune in next time for more special guests and netball commentary exclusively on YouTube.